Whoa, g'day guys, Bailey here from Outback Equipment. Today we're joined by none other than Uncle Poolie. Bit better than the first take, eh mate?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Today we're going to do a bit of a rig walk around with Poolie himself and get a bit...
Got a few questions, haven't you?
Yeah,
A couple of questions as well.
a few Q&As, a little bit of a rig rundown on the gold ute from TikTok.
That's the one.
Yeah. So, Pools, where's a good place to start? Who is
KFC.
Poolie?
Oh, wait, we're talking about something else?
Yeah. What made you Poolie?
Well, my last name's Paul, so I guess that's what made me Poolie. But yeah, like getting into the full drive in this car and everything like that, like I've always had a passion for building custom stuff. That's cool. And I started on BMXs and scooters, and then I got into dirt bikes, and then eventually, got into cars, full drives, and just went from there. And this is what I've ended up with.
Seems like the normal progression for everyone. I think I started at the same spot, BMX and racing, and then you get a slightly bigger bike, and then next minute.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I had a bit of motorbike accident, sort of set me back. I had to give up the bikes, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to put all this time into something else. And then, that's when I bought this ute. So, and now look at it.
Yeah. A little bit different to how you started, I reckon.
Yeah, slightly different. Couple mods. But
What makes you keep wanting to modify your cars and keep building more cars, I guess?
well, I like the fabrication side of it. So like I like to create things. Like I'm a creative kind of person, I guess you'd say. So I've always been I'm a mechanic by trade. So pulling stuff apart, putting it back together, and then also I'm a fabricator. So creating stuff, and when I can think of an idea and then make it and then put it on the car is like where I get my kick out of it.
Yeah.
And then obviously I'm from the country, so there's not much else that we can do in the country. We've got the bush, and I love being out in the bush while driving and everything like that. So
Keeps you entertained, I guess.
it just keeps me entertained. It's just, I've never really been into sport. Like a lot of people play footy and things like that. Like I go out the bush.
Yeah.
I used to go motorbike riding, now I go full driving.
The full drive community's changed a lot
Yeah,
over the last few
that's a
years.
good point.
And
Everyone's around COVID's got into full driving, and it's become a lot bigger, and a lot of people are getting more interested in it.
yeah, which I mean, it helps you, I guess, and sort of built your own community around it.
Yeah,
Everyone knows
yeah.
the gold ute from TikTok now, so
That's right.
I mean, it's kind of built the platform where you're recognised and you can start to build a few more cars and get into it a bit more where you want to. But I mean, it's grown into more than just the guys that were fitting out their cars at ARB back in the day. There's more people doing it these days.
That's right. There's people everywhere. Like everyone you talk to's got a full drive. If they don't, like someone they know's got a full drive, or they've been in a full drive. Like most people are sort of into it now. I think like around COVID was that time. Everyone got locked in their house, not allowed to do anything. And then when they were finally allowed, they went out for full drives.
Yeah.
So now everyone's gone, which is good to see though. Like there's a lot of young people getting into full driving now, and like I'm seeing people out full driving, having fun in the bush, camping with their mates instead of being out, just drinking every weekend and doing other things that probably mightn't be as good as full driving.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long list underneath full drive, I reckon. But
Yeah.
that's funny, actually. I think we literally had a pretty similar starting position. I used to race BMX. Is that what you're doing back in the day as well?
Yeah, well, I didn't race, but I was a skate park user back in the day.
And then what? You probably went to...
And then I went to dirt bike. It was
Straight
just
to the dirt bikes.
I've progressed up with my financial situation.
Yeah.
So I could only afford a BMX, and then I got a bit older, started working, I could afford a motorbike. Like I could afford to do stuff with the motorbike, and then I got a car, and I was like, couldn't do much to it. And a lot of this stuff on this car, I've learned how to create it and do it myself because I couldn't afford to buy it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't just go and pay someone to paint the car gold. So I had to work out how to paint and do a good job.
Yeah.
So that's how, and it's pushed me. And also like posting a lot of stuff online has really pushed me as well. Because when you post something online, everyone looks at it and they judge you.
Everyone's a critic.
And which it's bad, like, because they can be mean. But it's also great because they make you look back at your work and go, maybe they're right. Like, maybe I shouldn't have that run in the paint there. Like, and next time you try and be better. And like, when obviously post a lot of stuff and a lot of people see it, so I don't try and take a video that just doesn't show them bits. I try and make everything good so that it looks good and no one can pick on it.
You can show every bit of it.
It's pushed me to be better.
Yeah,
in a way,
which is cool because obviously you're a guy that likes progression and likes changing your rig constantly. But
that's right.
I mean, you kind of do it when you find a better way to do it.
Well, and I get better. Like, everyone's always like, oh, you're building another tray. Like, oh, this bloke, he builds a tray every year. But every year I'm better at building a tray.
Yeah.
That's why I built another one, because last year's tray was last year's Poolie skills.
Yeah.
But like, you know, this year I might have learned something different. And like, even with designing and things, like, you know, I'm always getting better. So I just always like to keep updating things. Pretty much, that's how it is.
Yeah. So at the moment we've got the fence checker, the gold ute from TikTok.
Yeah.
The KFC Runmobile. Then we've got
the other KFC Runmobile.
The soon to be Colonel Senders. Yeah. Obviously the cruiser that you've got, the FJ.
Yeah.
So what's next? Obviously you've got to finish off the FJ, but is there plans for bigger and better things for Poolie?
I've got my little Hilux, little Frank.
Oh, of course.
It's just the LN 106, and I love it. I drive it every day. Like, it's my favourite car, just because it's the one I don't have to care about.
Yeah.
And I will do a few things to it, but that's going to be a car that I don't go crazy with. I just want to keep it a normal car, you know, not over the top. But yeah, my Baz, like the FJ, I've got a lot of stuff to do to it.
Yeah.
And you know, I've built this car 5 times over with like different bull bars, different trays, all this and that. And like, Baz hasn't even been built once yet. So pretty much, yeah, that's going to consume a lot of my time.
So this is probably the last rebuild we've seen on the Gold Ute for a little bit, and then...
No, definitely not.
there's no rest, mate. No rest.
Well, there's things called maintenance.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to do things. Like, I've recently just been on a really big trip, and like, a lot of parts were sandblasted, and like, from all the stones, from all the dirt roads in the outback, and like, you know, all of my bar work was torn up from dragging it on the ground, and also for the previous year of fall driving before that big trip. And like, everyone's like, oh, he's painting all his bar work again. It's like, yeah, well, the paint, it wears off, you know.
It's
like,
getting used.
You know, it gets used.
Yeah.
Like, I just like to freshen it up. I like to look at the car and it be all shiny and look nice. Like, I don't like looking at all these rusty spots. So yeah, it's just maintenance to me at this point, to just give it a freshen up annually.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're still driving it, it's still going to need it.
That's right, exactly right. It progressively just gets more dints in the cab. I can't paint over that.
After that, then finish off Baz, and then what's the plans from there? Are you just going to start ripping Baz and having a good time?
Yeah, just I want to take Baz fall driving as much as possible, and Baz will probably be the car that does the harder sort of stuff, and like the funnest, fast, fun stuff. And this year it'll be used for the bigger sort of trips, like, you know, it's set up better for driving on the road and stuff like that, where I can go interstate on bigger trips, whereas Baz is like a race car. It's a race car that'll never be raced.
Yeah.
It'd probably suck if it was, but it's more of a race car than it is a normal car.
It's a real good street car or an average race car.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just put like 31s on it and just drive around on the street.
Cool, so I guess we got a bit of an idea of where things are going to, what the focus is going to be in the future, but I guess the ute from TikTok, the one that we've got here today, let's have a bit of a closer look. You can tell us where it is now, and I guess we'll see the changes probably in the next video already, but we'll see where she's at and I guess what it's all about.
Sounds like a plan. Let's have a look.
What is the pub truck? Obviously it's a cruiser, but
It's just a truck that goes from pub to pub.
yeah. So obviously it's a 79 series cruiser.
Yeah, it's a 2012 79 series workmate. Pre-deep, yeah. It's the most basic 79 that you could buy off the market.
Nothing fancy around here. Pretty common man.
Nothing fancy for checkered fences. Just wanted, you know, the nice, simple old cruiser. And yeah, then I've done a couple of small modifications to it.
Obviously, underneath it's looking a bit different to factory.
Yeah, so a few suspension changes. I've done done a 4-link in the rear, double triangulated 4-link, and run all king shocks and all different arms, all different suspensions. So got it riding pretty nice and flexing good. And
For anyone that doesn't know, I guess that's not your everyday suspension setup.
No,
it's off the shelf. You know, you put a bit of work into it.
It's a little bit better than the old leaf springs. And yeah, I've done it more than once too. Like I started with a 5-link coil conversion, and then I modified that to long arm 5-link, and tried Heim joints and different things. And maybe I modified it like 2 or 3 times, and then I just ended up cutting it all out, and then welded in a whole J-race setup with a whole track-directed housing and everything, and started again. So it's taken a while to fine-tune it, but I've done a 15,000k trip to Cape York and through the Simpson Desert, and it's the first time I've pulled the car apart and fixed everything and not changed suspension. It's the only time I've ever been happy with it. So it's at the point where it's actually good now.
Can leave it for a little while now. And happy with it.
I think that I'll be able to leave it for good now. I think
the outside of the truck looks pretty different to any factory color. I don't think Toyota comes out with a gold at the moment.
Nah, this is a custom paint job that I done myself on a weekend at home.
Just a weekend job.
Yeah. I actually rolled it at one point. So it used to be white, and then I rolled it, and then I put a different cab on it. And before I put the cab on, I was like, I'm not going to all this work for it to just look like some old white ute again. So I painted it his colour before I put the cab on, and then put it on. It all come together pretty good.
Probably the best decision you ever made, painting the gold, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I always wanted to paint a custom colour, and I always wanted like a nice metallic kind of colour. But when I actually come to painting it, I didn't want to paint it a colour that you could just buy. I could have went for like a Merlot red or a graphite or any of the factory Toyota colours, or even the silver, or even if it was a different shade of one of those colours. But it's like, you just go and buy one that colour.
Yeah.
So that's why I went for this colour, because I just wanted to be a bit different to everyone else.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
And there was a guy in town with a car this colour, and I went and had a look at it, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
So yeah, and I'm really glad I did. It's one of my favourite things, and it's got a bush wraps protective PPF on it, so the whole car's wrapped with that. It's like just a do-it-yourself one, and I put that on there before I even put the cab onto the chassis. It was painted and wrapped.
Wow!
So there's not a scratch on all the spots that have been wrapped. The roof doesn't have wrap on it, and you can see like all down the side of it, all the scratches and stuff.
And like trees.
I saw all my car work, like it does stick out a bit more, so it pops a bit worse, but like there was no paint down the side of scrub bars after the last trip. And but yeah, like the wrap has kept it. That's probably one of my favourite mods, just because it has kept the paint looking good. Yeah, like I've gone to the trouble to make it look all shiny and nice, and it still does, apart from everything else goes to it.
Full bar work. That's not your standard off the shelf either. Obviously, that had to be custom, and I know you've gone through a few iterations, but this is probably one of the more aggressive ones you've done.
I think this is bull bar number 4, but this one I made from scratch, and all the scrub bars and the sliders and everything, they all tie in together. This has been on there for a while. I actually really like this one. I've kept it for a while. I'm going to, at some point, probably make another one. I want to try and fit a high mount in there.
Yeah.
But I've just put a rumba in there. But it's an 80-to-1 ratio. It's a bit quicker. Like, it's probably the quickest low mount I've ever had. So it's just getting me by, getting me through this season. And I might even end up liking it and leaving it in there.
Who was your mate that went on the Cape trip with the SAS D-Max?
Jono. Yeah,
Jono has a high mount, hey?
Yeah.
I've seen that thing pulling
it's
out of a couple of creek crossings.
But like, you comparing like a winch that's like $1,000 to a winch that's like $8,000.
Yeah.
So like, his is really good, but like, if you got a winch like that, you want to use it a lot, which he does. He'll use it.
Yeah. But is that more something you'd probably put in Baz, or would you think?
Yeah, I've got a custom built winch going on Baz.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a good winch.
The pub truck hauls pretty well along the highway and whatnot, and it sounds a little bit different to your normal cruiser. But
yeah,
I know you've done a little bit of engine work. It's not too
No, it's
Too much crazy, hey?
not heaps. It's one thing that I've left. It's pretty standard. It's probably a good thing that I have because it's I haven't had problems blowing diffs and blowing give. Like it's all standard. Back up 300,000 Ks. I'm on standard like factory motor, factory gearbox, factory front and rear diff. Like the only drama I've had is like tail shaft dramas.
Yeah.
I've snapped one and I've done a few duties and stuff, but it's more wear and tear.
Yeah.
But I just rebuilt my rear diff about 300,000 Ks, and I just put a set of bearings in it. I don't know how long it'll go. I just want to, rather than just replacing the whole thing, I was like, I just want to see how long the factory gears can last.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all a result of not having over-the-top power.
Yeah.
Because it gets driven pretty hard. Like, I wouldn't say it's like we call it, it's like grandma going to church on a Sunday car. Like, it's not going to the church on a Sunday. Yeah, but everything's been good. So, yeah, it's about 212 horsepower, 720 newton meters, which is more than most cars anyway.
Yeah.
And it does go quite well, and it sounds good. But, yeah, in the future, I'm doing different turbo and stuff like that. But I just want to do something a bit different. I'm doing a bit of a custom turbo setup and a different exhaust and stuff. Maybe soon, maybe, when I get around to it. So, yeah, something a bit different.
It wouldn't be the EMU pump truck without a nice little custom grill in there.
With the EMU on it.
Yeah, of course.
That's a custom grill from Matty Flexi.
Nice.
His business is Outback Bandits.
How good. I like it. And then up front, matched it with the GME.
The GMEs. And I just recently put these on. Oh, look at that. Oh.
Bit fancy.
Yeah, because they're always, the car's actually not that high. I can get in anywhere that's 2.1 meters.
Yeah.
But I can't with those aerials. Now I can.
How good.
Just fold them down.
You can fold down the topo cap.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, working around the side of the truck here, we had a look up the front. Obviously, some of the bar work that we were talking about, you got your sliders straight in, or your sliders into your brush bars. I quite like how you...
Twin Bluetooth snorkels.
Twin Bluetooth, both Bluetooth.
Yeah, I actually don't even have an airbox in there. Yeah, I get the new one tomorrow. So neither of them are hooked up.
Hot air intake in the engine bay. Oh, the big shiny ring on the side of the car is probably your wheels. What do we got going on?
These are the beautiful KMCs. And I've got a set of Goodyear folders. These are Goodyear's newest mud tyre that they've got out. So I've been testing them out. Right. The Cape and everywhere on, and they seem pretty good so far.
Been working through the Simpsons for all the mud and whatnot.
Yep.
Obviously, could have gone a little bit bigger. The 235s, what are these, 31s?
31s, yeah. 31s, those ones.
Obviously, keeping everyone happy out.
Yeah. I just didn't want them to scrub anywhere. So.
No, obviously, we've got a little bit of clearance with the 2-inch lift here.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Looks good. I like it. And then, what else we got going on? Obviously, everyone loves your trays and what you've been doing there.
Yeah, so I've got a custom tray, aluminium. These are the ones I've been building. I'm not building them anymore just because I want to put my time into building the cars and making videos for people to watch. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, jump over to Uncle Poolie and
give her a few likes on the vids.
Yeah.
Give her a subscribe.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. It's I find it very hard to build trays and try and keep customers happy, and also build my own cars, and then try and edit videos, and then try and sell merch, and then do all these things. And when I started doing YouTube, my main thing is I just want to make good videos.
Yeah.
I don't care how often they are, how long they take to make, whatever. I'm not going to post them unless I think that they're good. So I've just had to put all my effort into YouTube.
Yeah.
And which means I don't have time to build any more trays, unfortunately.
A little bit sad. Maybe
a little bit sad, but I'll build my own trays and I'll take a video of it, and you can watch it, and then you can learn how to build your tray. So it works out even better.
Yeah, it's a one-man show over in EMU. You don't have time to do everything.
Right.
So
Nah. Well, that's exactly right. There's only so many hours in the day, and there's so many things that I can do at once.
It just takes a while to drive from EMU to the local KFC, so we got to work things in.
Interior is pretty basic. I've got an aftermarket steering wheel, sheepskin seat covers, nice and comfy.
Yeah.
And I've got a sub between the seats and a couple speakers and good amp, good quality sound stuff. And That's about it.
Yeah.
Aftermarket cruise control because it's
Oh,
work, mate. It's got windy windows.
Nothing too flash for Paso Jess at the moment.
Jesso's got her own trim on the door on the other side.
We have seen that.
Yeah,
pretty flash.
Shout out to Frenchie's Fabrications. She's got Jesso's side on her side.
And we got something else fancy on your side as well, I'm assuming.
I got the fence checker.
Fence checker.
Yeah.
Nice. Just to remind you when you're hopping in every day.
Most of my time and effort's gone into like the suspension, driveline, tray and the bar work and stuff like that, exterior mods.
Yeah.
I haven't put a lot of time into engine bay stuff because I don't really require it.
Yeah.
It's like when I get bored, that's what I'll start doing. But as far as I'm concerned, I just want the car to be capable. And all, like, a lot of the reason why I've done all this stuff is like there's a few tracks at home that I used to try and get up and they were really hard, and it felt really unsafe with an incapable car trying to flog it up them. So I've just kept making the car better. So I never get in a situation where I feel like a bit nervous about it being a bit unsafe, or like it does still happen. But I'm just trying to make it capable so I can just drive up anything, like wherever, like stress free.
Well, when you're loaded up for your trip and you got your canopy and you got your rooftop and all that, and
that's it.
Many
like
K away from home.
And that, like, there's a few things missing off the car.
Yeah.
Like in this video, that like obviously I've got a canopy with a rooftop and it's fully set up. It's got power, 2 fridges, speaker on the back. Like, it's got everything that I need for me and Jess to go travel around. But obviously then you sacrifice, the car doesn't perform as well with suspension because you can't have suspension that's set up for weight and without weight.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to choose. It's set up for this or that. Yeah. And you've got a little bit of adjustment. But so I like to take that off and go do some harder wheeling when possible.
And then hopefully it can sort of stay the tourer and Baz will take up spot the fleet.
That'll never happen. That's what's meant to happen.
Yeah. So we've jumped into the engine bay, the workhorse room, but I can see a bit of a different setup over here. The pod filter, that the one you ran from Cape York, the river crossings.
No, that's just the street racing one. So right. When I finish like my Cape York stuff, I just put the street one on and like just race people like in the city and that.
This is a high performance.
Yeah.
You got to keep the rep up in the city.
Nah, I've got a new airbox going in tomorrow.
Nice.
Actually, my airbox that was there, I made myself, and I made it a few years ago. And how we were saying that I get better at things, I've gotten a lot better since I made that one. But I'm putting a Meredith Metalworks one in there, which actually takes a standard panel filter.
Yeah.
I've had some issues with these pod filters letting a bit of dust through, and even just trying to buy them, it's a bit of a pain. A standard panel filter, I can get it anywhere in Australia, and they're like $20. So I'm going back to one of them, but in a custom airbox tomorrow.
Nice.
And apart from that, I've just mechanically, I've just put all new injectors, starter motor, everything in it, which anyone that knows is a big job on these. So like all my hoses and stuff are all new. I've kept it mechanically pretty good. I've got a lithium battery here. This is an actual start battery. It's not a lithium battery like you'd have in your canopy.
Not
it's got 2,200 cranking amps, and it's made to go in an engine bay. And it's got this button here. When it goes flat and you can't start it, you just press that and it's got reserve. Built-in reserve.
That's big.
That there's for my winch. So on, off. I just like to keep it simple. I've got this because it's lithium. I can run a beer fridge off this.
Right.
If the car goes flat, I just press that button.
Nice.
So I got one battery. That's all my beers. There's my winch. These are my circuit breakers. So this is air compressors and everything in the tray, everything in the cab, everything else right here. So like, I'm just a simplicity guy.
Yeah.
Like, this is my entire wiring for the whole car is here. The battery's there, and the winch solenoid's there, and that's it. That there.
I noticed the bracketry is a little bit nicer.
Oh yeah, it's a bit custom.
Yeah, a little bit shiny.
Yeah. Made my own little brackets. This is actually meant to be shiny, this one here, but I haven't cleaned it, so it's not shiny. This thing here with the gauge on it, this is custom. So it's an air pressure regulator. On this side, it's got 100 PSI going into it. On this side, it's got like 2 PSI going into it. or coming out of it. And this goes into the knuckles on my front hubs, and I've got a switch on the dash. So when I turn it on, it pressurizes my whole front hubs.
Right.
So when I drive through water, it prevents water coming into the bearings and everything.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of dramas, and I, rebuilt swivel hubs, do all the bearings, change new locking hubs, new everything, replace all the seals, pull them apart, put rubber on them, try and put bigger seals in them, everything. And just a lot of, like, living in Victoria, there's like so many rivers and stuff. Like when we go to high country, you're constantly driving through river crossings, water, Cape York, river crossing. So I was like,
early in the season, you're probably getting the worst of it. So
no, it took me about 2 hours to set up, and it cost me like, I don't know, not much. Actually, I bought this from you guys, this regulator.
Sure.
Pretty sure, yeah. And I think that it's worked.
nice. Well, I mean, anyone that follows you probably would have seen every second weekend you were rebuilding swivel hubs.
I was, and
pulling water out of them. So.
well, what happened is the first time I didn't know. I just put all new wheel bearings in, everything brand new, and then I went on a high country trip, and I'd probably done 10,000 Ks. And I was heading somewhere, and a wheel bearing locked up on me and nearly threw me off the side of the road. And it was nearly all bad. Like one of those, it was the front driver's side one. It locked up, threw me, and then it let go, and I come good, and I pulled over and realised that it was buggered from the water.
Right.
But I just didn't expect, because they were all brand new.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, I don't want any risks. And I'd been pulling them apart every time and checking, and they were constantly getting water in them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this has worked. This, as well as all new seals, new fully rebuilt. But then this before, I've done the whole of Cape York, and they look to be pretty good.
Nice.
So
A little bit of a out of the box solution, but I mean,
yeah, well,
it worked.
and I'm not the first person to do this. I found this in a forum online.
Right.
Other people were fed up with the same problem that I did. And yeah, they'd done this as well. So, and it worked. The main thing is not too much pressure. It's only a human can blow 2 PSI.
Yeah.
So if you think about how hard you could blow into the hub, you won't blow out any seals or anything, but it's enough to stop water coming in.
Just for those river crossings.
Yeah.
Water. Oh, cool.
And apart from that, there's absolutely nothing else going on here. Got a secondary fuel filter over there. Got a bracket.
Keeping water and whatnot out of the fuel while you those more remote ones.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously the exhaust, it's all custom too from down here. It's 4-inch through to twin stacks in the tray, and other than that, that's about it.
All right, well, I'm getting better. I'm getting there. But all right, well, cheers, Paul. That's been a bit of a rig walk around, I suppose, of the pub truck, the gold TikTok ute,
The fence checker, aka the KFC pub truck mobile,
aka everything else under the sun. But yeah, good. Well, I appreciate it, Paul. So it's good to get to know you a little bit better. Good to learn a bit more about the famous TikTok ute. And yeah, well, where can we catch a little bit more, I guess, about you and your rigs?
Oh, you can head over to Uncle Poolie on YouTube if you want to see this ute in action, or you can head over to my Instagram, Poolies __ coil cabs, or TikTok is Lockie Pool.
We might even drop that down in the comments down below, make it a little bit easier for you guys. But
Put a link there.
yeah, throw the link down below, guys. If you want to give us a like, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Don't miss a thing, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And you got to make sure you leave a comment. He's new.
Oh,